what's going on, everyone? I know I said 5:05, it's 5:03. The market just opened, so I'm getting a little impatient. We're going to go ahead and kick it off. First off, guys, happy Sunday. I appreciate you guys being with us. Welcome to Chart Addicts. My name is Roy Dunya. I'm going to be your host. I'm just going to run through all of the setups that we have for the week, guys. I just want to give you guys a reminder for everybody that's on our call. If you've been on our call before, you guys can tune this out. But if you're on these calls, guys, and you're not taking notes, you have a piece of paper writing down, GBP, USD, buy. If you're not doing these things, then guys, you're going to forget a lot of the stuff that we tell you. So in order to keep yourself on track and to make sure that you guys are keeping up with making money this week, I want to make sure that you guys take notes on everything that we do. All right, if I tell you guys that we're going to buy Euro NZD sometime later in the week, just go ahead and note it down. Say Euro NZD, we're looking for a bearish. You know what I'm saying? Write these things down so you don't have to guess. When it gets later in the week and the market's doing some wonky shit, you can go back to that piece of paper that you had at the beginning of the week and know exactly what your plan was. And then if you execute on your plan, guys, then that's how you guys can start making money consistently. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, guys. First three pairs, we always start off with gold. We're going to look at the gold look ahead. So we'll see how the US dollar is looking first. So this is what we had last week, guys. We had a break and retest. So right now the dollar is very, very bullish. Okay. So I want everyone to understand this. Everybody was bullish on gold, which means they were expecting gold to go up. Everyone knows that gold and the dollar move opposite. Okay. If the US dollar is going up right now, that means we're expecting gold to drop. I wanted you guys to pay attention to how the dollar is doing so that when we go on to the other pairs, you guys can make some sense out of what we're trying to tell you. So right now we know that the dollar is on a strong uptrend. So this week it's probably going to be going bullish. So when we look at gold, we're looking at something bearish. We're looking for this to go down. We're trying to find an entry so we can catch this on the way down. And this is what we find. We have this yellow zone right here, guys. This is the retracement. We're going to see how price rejects off of this trend line. If the price gets up in this yellow zone and it rejects, then we're going to sell it. Here, let me just mute. And can everybody mute you guys' mics? That would make things a lot easier. There we go. Awesome. So when we get up into this yellow zone, guys, this is how you're going to be able to tell what you're going to do. When price gets back up here, if it rejects, if it starts heading back down, then we're going to sell this. This will be a perfect entry point for a sell. If the price keeps breaking up here past this black line, then it's going to be bullish. So we will look for an entry right here for continuation. So that's gold, guys. We're watching this rejection. So we are waiting. We're not going to be entering this today, probably not even tomorrow. We'll see how it reacts after tomorrow's session, after the New York session tomorrow, and then maybe in the London session, we'll have our answer for what we're going to be able to do up in this zone. Euro NZD, we threw this out in the chat, guys. We have this beautiful harmonic on the daily at this zone. We have a lot of rejection here, and then here we go for round two. Okay, so we're looking for this rejection. We have our stop losses set, and if we look at the smaller time frames, guys, it's already starting to reject because it just opened bearish on the bottom side. Okay, so we're going to look for a breakout. This is exactly what we're waiting for, guys. And you guys can take a screenshot of this on your computers. We're waiting for a breakout like this or a break to the downside. So the two entries that we're watching, guys, are this and this. All right, guys, we have a lot of consolidation here. It's starting to make a little bit of higher highs, but it's not convincing. There's no strong bullish momentum. So this thing could come crashing back down. If it breaks out of this black line, I'm going to highlight these to make these really dark. And I want you guys to screenshot this. If price comes out here, it's out of bounds. Okay, think about this like soccer. If it's out of here, if it's out of bounds, wait for it to go back and touch this line, and we're going to sell it right here. If it breaks above this black line up here, we're going to wait for price to bounce above here, retest, and we're going to enter right here. It's very simple, guys. We don't guess. We're not going to guess what happens. We're going to wait for a break and retest, and then we're going to have our answer. So we're still bearish on Euro NTD. Euro AUD, guys, this thing just opened very bearish. Let's go up to the higher time frames. You guys can see on this pair too. We're back at a zone of a lot of rejection, guys. These are strong institutional zones. Big banks have a lot of money invested interest right here. So whenever price gets up here, it rejects. All right, so we're gonna have to be very careful around this region. We're already looking for sells. So we were already looking a little bit bearish, and this thing just opened up to the bottom. So here's what we're gonna be waiting on, guys. Whenever the price gaps, if price comes up to fill the gap, let's see what this looks like, which it looks like it's doing right now. If price comes up to fill this gap, then we're gonna be right back where we are. We're gonna be consolidating. If price comes up here and it rejects, let me show you guys. If price makes its way back up to the previous lows and it rejects, then we're gonna be bearish, guys. So what we'll do is we'll look for an entry somewhere right here. Until then, this thing is consolidating in this range. As soon as it breaks out of this range, which we just have right here with this breakout, we're gonna see how it rejects and how it reacts around the zone. So I'm gonna put a price label here, guys, for the price that we were trying to watch. And I want you guys to take a screenshot of this as well. Okay, 6225. I'll give you guys a second to look at this. We're watching the 6625 for a break, okay? If this thing comes up to reject, we're gonna sell it right here. If this thing comes back up and it starts ping-ponging around this range, guys, we're gonna wait for a breakout. We won't touch it at all. But if it comes up and it immediately rejects, okay, and it doesn't keep forming some bullish action, we're gonna sell this back down to the downside, guys. And we have a lot of room to the downside. This is about, let's say, maybe 250 pips to the downside until the last key zone at the 1.6 psychological number right here. So Euro AUD, we have bearish, Euro AUD bearish. US 30 we'll cover in a later session, guys, for the members only. I don't want to confuse you guys with that. All right, Euro JPY. Let me delete all this. Euro JPY has been on a very, very strong downtrend, guys. This was the neckline, and we just completely broke it. This was the previous support, and we completely broke, retested, and now we're on the downside. Here's what we have. Now we're at the second area of support. So it all depends on what price does in this region. You guys see how there's a lot of dojis right here, a lot of indecision? The last time we were at this price, guys, was in early January. Okay, the price crashed because of the way that the market gets in the New Year's. You guys see this long candle? We were right here. Okay, long time goes by, we're breaking above and we're retesting the zone, retesting the zone, retesting the zone. Comes back up and we break this zone. Okay, now we find ourselves back down here where we were in January. So we're gonna try to see, guys, if we can buy this right here. And this is what your setup would look like. Here's where your stop loss and your take profit would be. Stop loss is gonna be right below the last lows.
Yeah. It's mostly for his prom thing. Here, carry this off of my Ashley.
Maybe I'm tripping. Right here. All right, guys. So as soon as we get, this is where we are right now. Price is down here. Your stop loss would be about 60. No, that's way too much. Let's go down to the 4 hour. All right, here we go. So your stop loss would be around 50 pips. Your first take profit would be right here. Your first take profit would be at this black line right here, the 125.25. So that's going to be around 150 pips. Take profit, 50 pip loss. Okay, so this is what we try to teach at Chart Addicts, guys. At Chart Addicts, we try to let you guys know that you have to understand the risk of the trade that you're taking, and you have to accept the risk of the trade that you're taking. So if you understand that this is a 50 pip risk, so depending on the lot size that you use, you're either going to be out $5 or $50 or $500. You have to be ready to accept the risk of this trade before you enter this trade. So when we send out the signal, guys, you guys know that the possible risk is 50 pips. The possible gain is 150, 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Now, guys, if this thing rebounds, you guys have to understand this is a swing trade position. The swing trade is up here. We're going back up into these highs. But what we end up doing is we'll only go as far as this black line for safety, guys, because maybe it rejects off this black line. So we will make our money up until this black line, and then we'll leave a runner going for the rest of this profit. How we assess the trade is that we're risking 50 pips to make close to 150. Okay, Euro JPY, guys, we're going to be looking for a buy. There's a lot of indecision down here. You guys can see the consolidation. We're consolidating for a long time. And so we're going to look for a breakout of this. We're going to look for a breakout, retest, breakup, retest of this black line, continuation. All right, if this thing rejects off the black line, then we can sell it right here, back down. And so this would be the area that we're watching. This area and this area. These are our two entries, guys. These yellow circles are the only things that we're watching. If price breaks up here, we're going to buy it at this yellow circle. As soon as we get to this black line, we're either going to sell it or we're going to wait for a break and retest. It's that simple. It's really, really that simple. So we're going to go ahead and send these markups up in the chat. So Euro JPY, GBP JPY. Let's see how long we're running on this call. So far, so good. We have this swing trade option, guys. We have two options here. If it breaks below here, guys, we can sell it right here at the, what is this? 1.398 right here. So if price breaks below, we can resell it. We can sell it right here at the retest. If price breaks above, we're going to buy this up, guys. And I have the entry right here for the GBP swing. If you guys are interested, the stop loss would be 139.55, which is right below the last swing low. This is where the stop loss is. And the take profit is up here at the 143. The take profit would be up here, guys. Ooh, excuse me. We have the bullish target up here and the bearish target down here. This is how we play the game. We're not going to sit here and guess which way it's going to break out, because it can honestly break out either direction. So what we do is, now that the market is opened, we see how price reacts down here. And if it goes bearish, guys, we're going to sell it. And this is our target down here at the 138. And so I'll send this markup in the chat too, guys. If it does reject bullish, we can hold this up all the way to the 144. That's around 500 pips, guys. This is the type of setup that you enter early in the week and you hold throughout the week, and on a Friday you close it. Because the swing trade ran so long. Just like the sell on GJ. We held this out for close to 5 days, guys. We were posting in the chat how it was selling. We're telling you guys to find entries. So this is the kind of stuff that we try to look for, guys. There's reversals and continuations. I'm going to go through two more of our own setups, and then you guys, if you guys have any setups you want to post in the chat box, please let me know. I'm going to let Professor O take over. I just have one more setup to show you guys. This is GBP NZD, guys. Strong bullish movement. We had a break, and I'm seeing a break and retest. Okay, this is where the last highs were. Let me remove all of this junk. This is where the last highs are, guys. So I'm seeing price broke above, came down to retest, and then we're going to be looking for some buys somewhere here for the entry. All right, we have a very, very small stop loss on this. It would be close to 60 pips on this, where the last swing lows were. 60 pip loss for around If we do it to the 68, maybe around 350 pip gain. All right. GBP USD. Sheesh. We're going to be, guys, this is our target down here. We said this last week. We said if price breaks the 1.285, which is over here, then the next target was 1.2675, which is down here. So this is how we're trading this, guys. As soon as the price gets down to our target, we're going to be looking for buys to buy this back up. If this thing continues bearish, guys, then we'll know for a fact that GBP has lost this Brexit war, because the Brexit war has kind of led to a lot of this instability right here, where it was bullish and then it didn't know what it was doing, and then this is when the first Brexit vote happened, when they asked for the extension, and then they got the extension from Europe, and then now they're doing negotiations with Europe, guys, and they've been on, I don't know, 2 weeks of nothing but bearish. So we can go ahead and assume that a lot of investors are taking their money out of the British market and they're putting it in other markets. And that's why GBP is seeing a lot of weakness, guys. So I wouldn't be trying to buy any GBPs just yet. I'd be waiting maybe another week. We're going to see how the price reacts at the bottom zones right here. If price reacts very badly down here, guys, then, we're going to have a long story ahead of us. We're going to have brand new lows on the GBPs. Price will break back down here into this empty space. Okay, so we have a long way to go. So we'll see how price reacts, guys. Are there any pairs that anybody would like us to go through? If anybody is in the chat, I've always wondered what's a good stop loss for the daily. It depends on each individual pair, because some pairs are more volatile than other pairs. So your stop loss are going to need to be, kind of correlated to whatever pair. That's why we strongly encourage that you guys back test whatever pairs that you're trading. That way you can kind of see like, okay, the average stop loss on this pair is like, 50 pips. Omar Kambal, Professor O in the chat says each trade is unique. Each trade really is unique, guys. There is an average if you guys want to automate it for each pair. So let's say if you trade GBP USD daily, you will develop a system to understand how many pips you can trade on certain kinds of setups. Okay, so let's say up here, I'll give you guys a good example. Let's say we're on the weekly right here. You can see that when the price came up here, guys, the wicks, you can kind of measure the wicks that came up above where the actual body of the price was. It's like 200 pips. You can cut the body of the price. And this is just my personal strategy, guys. I'll cut the body of the price where the last high was. And then anything that's extra up here, guys, I will have to expect in my formula when I'm trying to sell. So when I go up here to the daily and I'm trying to sell the price up here, okay, you have to expect at least this much mediation for where you can put your price. I'll put it, I'll put maybe a price at the very, very, very tip and a price where the body is. So where the body is like the support resistance, okay? We have a rejection right here. We have a rejection right here because price broke above, came back down, retested, and broke back up. So there's rejections. And when the price breaks below, it comes up to retest this. Okay, so this is a very, very strong zone, the 141. But I also know that the absolute tip is up here. So this range in between, this range right here, this entire range is pretty much fair game for a stop hunt. So when you're incorporating your stop loss, if you can't wait, how much is this? 220 pips. If you cannot wait 220 pips, wait till price breaks below here. Once price breaks back below down here, guys, that's a safer bet. Okay, but if you are in this range and you want to sell, be ready for 220 pips of volatility. Okay, the safest bet would be to be as close as this top black line as possible. If you get an entry, a sell, up here at the top black line, then you are in the safest bet. You're in the safest place to be in as little drawdown as possible. Because if price breaks above this black line, guys, ditch the trade. It's not a sell. If you're right here, you're riding the price, and the price gets right here, and the price starts going up here, guys, it's not a sell. You know that the buy is obviously going to break the higher highs, and it's going to start making new highs. So that your stop loss will be very, very small. So this would be the best trade right here, where you have like maybe 20 pips stop loss, and your possible gain is like 300 pips to the downside. You risk $20 to make 300 bucks. That's a good trade. You guys want to take that almost all the time. So patience to enter at the right time, or patience to wait for the breakout of this last zone. Those are your two entries, up here at the very top or when it breaks through. If you want to enter it right here, guys, your stop loss is like 220 pips. If you enter up here, your stop loss is maybe 25 to 30 pips. So that's just a heads up about timing and patience. AUD USD and Euro USD. I think we already went over Euro USD. All right, maybe I skipped over it. Euro USD, guys, very straightforward. It's been doing this for a very long time. Ping-ponging in this channel. You guys can see it ping-pongs in this channel, ping-pongs in this channel. Now we're finally down here. So I'm expecting it to either do two things. Okay, it either comes down to this bottom trend line. It either comes down to this line right here, this zone, or it comes all the way down to the bottom of this channel. All right. Either way, guys, very bearish on Euro USD. If we look at this on the smaller time frames, you guys can see the break, retest, okay, retest of the last lows, bearish. Okay, there's nothing to stop this bearish movement right here. There is a key zone down here. So we have these zones to break. If you guys want to take a screenshot of this. These are the two zones that Euro USD is going to have to break. So it'll go like this. All right. Very bearish, making lower lows. You guys see the price broke below this yellow line, came back up to retest it. Okay. And the retest is on this last low. Okay. When you're making lower lows, guys, that's a downtrend. It's the definition of a downtrend. If it breaks above, let's see. We go back to this yellow zone. If it breaks above this yellow zone and retest it, guys, you guys already know what to do. Buy it. Okay, break and retest. Break, retest, continuation. Break, retest, continuation. Retest, continuation. That's how we trade. Okay, if it breaks below, because right now this price broke below, retested. If it breaks below, then we'll enter again off here. We'll enter again off this retest. That's how we trade. Euro AUD. Yes, sir. Okay. This gap is just really, really, really weird, guys. Like I said, this is for Euro AUD. Price is going to come back up to the entry. This is where the price was last weekend before it closed, at this black line. If it rejects and it starts going down, guys, we're going to sell this because we're officially in that swing trade. Euro AUD is a long-term swing trade. If it comes back up to this zone and it rejects, we're going to sell this and we're going to be making money all week. If price breaks above here and it starts going back into this zone, guys, we'll leave it. We'll wait for another entry. Understood? All right, guys, that's all the pairs that I think we're going to go through. This session was recorded. I'm going to go ahead and post this in the chats. If you guys are interested, we'll post this on YouTube and then we'll go ahead and send out the link. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'm going to let Professor O share his screen in case there's any further questions, guys.
What's up, you guys? Appreciate you, Roy. Spit out some heat. I'm just going to go over the pairs I'm looking at. I'm looking at most of the same pairs. Especially that AUD NZD I mentioned last weekend or last call. It did gap me in profits. So currently I'm floating. I might hold off a little bit before I move my stop loss to stop profit. But again, we took this trade simply off the impulsive move, break of this downward trend line in confluence with our key psychological and our quarterly psychological zones. And simply by price action, I saw divergence and I saw these small candlesticks slowing down, signifying sellers losing strength in the market. So again, we called this out last week in our YouTube and in our Telegram. So I'm currently floating and I would like to see how this plays out this week, CAD CHF. We did get this break of the trend line, and I'm seeing some indecision, 2 doji candlesticks, but I'm not liking how this daily candlestick is looking at the moment. So again, we saw this huge impulsive move that broke this key psychological zone. We have a potential flag retracement. So I'd like to see how the next daily candlestick will close to see how price will play out. Okay, because this could just be a fake out. Essentially, what these market makers like to do, they had an impulse to the downside, and all these breakout traders who see this break of the trend line, what they do is sell, and they stack positions. So if we have a fake out, essentially everyone's getting trapped. So again, that's why it pays to be patient, see how these candlesticks eventually close out. So again, I'm just gonna hold off one more day to see how this daily candlestick will close. And if it is bearish, target 1 is this last previous zone over here. That was the second touch on the trend line. And essentially that's that B position on this harmonic pattern. Okay, so Euro AED, I know my man Roy mentioned it, but again, you can see that it hasn't been back at these highs since January. Okay, you could see we did gap to the downside. So if it does end up breaking this channel, I'm hoping to see a long swing trade on this one. You can see we even broke this trend line inside here. Okay, so I'd like to see how it breaks or how it reacts to this one. If it does, we can see some follow through, and I'm really liking how Euro NZD is playing out. So you can see on a daily time frame, we are ranging, so we're going sideways, but that doesn't mean we can't take advantage of these setups. Okay, so essentially we are back at this well-respected resistance zone, this ceiling. So I like to see how price reacts. We can see we had almost an engulfing. You can see we closed at the same spot over here on this these daily candlesticks. So again, if it does break this zone, this trend line, I'm hoping to have this trade at least almost a 500 plus pip move to the downside to catch it back to the bottom of this this support zone. Other than that, pound NZD, it's well respected on this this zone over here. You can see we have past resistance. So I like to see what happens if it breaks below this trend line. You could potentially get a retest. You can see the MAs crossed on the daily time frame, signifying selling momentum or selling sellers taking control. So this is something we're going to keep our eyes out on, and I think that's basically it. USD Chef, I'm just liking how it's looking on the weekly time frame. You can see strong doji, and it broke this well-respected resistance zone. So again, going to keep my eye on USD Chef as well. I know we have 1 minute left. I'm going to try and finish this up quickly. USD JPY, we can see we had a break of this trend line and this zone in the past. You can see it was well respected. So it's right now retesting it. So I'd like to see how this daily candlestick will close. If we see some rejection, we could potentially get in for a sell. If it is bullish, then we have to see how price plays out. But I think that's it for me. Again, we're going to follow up with these setups, send you guys signals. And if you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to contact us. Let me see the chat if anyone has any questions.